Okay, that worked. I think my computer's having issues. If you didn't know, my computer's being held together by a binder clip, and because the bottom separated, so it's holding on for dear life, but it's still working, and she's still working. Please go check out my Dirty 30 January video for her identity, the pain in the butt that's forever going off. Although she's going off less these days, much less. She may need a new battery. But so anyways, I'm up in the middle of the night because I finished this book and I wanted to get to it. And would you believe it's the 130th book I've read this year so far that I've recorded, that I've remembered to record. I'm trying to be good about it and record. I have a 300 book pledge on Goodreads for the year, so we'll see what happens. So I hope you're having a good day or a good night as it is. And it's nice to meet you. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read book and talk about books. No special effects going on here. What you see is what you get. And I could use all the likes and subscribes, please. So please don't forget to check out my Star Trek recaps on Friday. Also my If Then, if you like this author, then maybe you like that author, Friday afternoons. And Monday, Flashback Monday, where we talk about my most favorite magazine in the entire world, Romantic Time Book Reviews. And if you haven't seen this one coming up, July 2010. Oh, I can get this in. I went a little overboard, and it's 2 hours long. 2 hours. Mystery, historical romance, contemporary romance, inspirational, suspense, harlequin, paranormal, erotica, did all of it, over 70 books. So if maybe you can find an author or a new book or a new series out of all that. So anyways, and don't forget my daily book reviews, and that's what this is. It's my daily book review. And I'm in the middle of doing J.R. Ward, Victoria Thompson, and James Patterson's Alex Cross series. Those are the 3 series I'm doing. Each one gets a day, and then every so often I'll throw in another book. This book happened to show up, so I decided to read it. I love this series. I enjoy this series quite much. I'm waiting for Prudence and Geofrey to get along. We have very little character progression in this book. Most of this book is the mystery. And if you haven't watched my podcast before, spoilers, 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 spoilers. I never, in a mystery whodunit, I don't spoil the whodunit, but I'll tell you all the other character stuff. And with my J.R. Ward books, it's the whole series is character progression. That's all it is character progression. So I spoil most of it, but most of the book too. But so just be warned, it's Murder Wears a Hidden Face, book 7 in the Gilded Age mystery series. And Prudence is our very rich lady, and Geofrey is our attorney, and Prudence may or may not be going to law school or taking the law exam soon, and Josiah is their assistant, and I'm having computer difficulties. I hope this still continues. And so let me see if I can get this. Sorry with the glare. There we go. They're attending a museum function. This is Chinese exhibit that's being displayed. They're having the family come in, the ambassador, the future ambassador come in, and they don't have too much security. And Prudence and Geofrey, that's the first thing I noticed. There's not much security. So the Chinese family comes in, the Pangs, they come in, and they haven't even made it through the receiving line when somebody stabs the guy, and he dies right there, the head of the family. So they got to whisk the family away. And so Geofrey, they immediately hired Geofrey and Prudence to handle the case to solve the murder. And then there's this thing um, about, see, I didn't understand it myself, and I don't think I wrote it down. And I wish I had. I don't think I did. This uh Chinese Exclusion Act. I probably can't find it, and I don't want to bore you. Let me see something here for a second. Okay. The Exclusion Act had been controversial and devastating to the population of Chinese already living and working in the United States. In New York City, its passage in 1882, amid the rise of anti-Chinese violence in California, had led to an explosive growth of the population in the Five Points area of Mott, Pell, and Dwyer Streets. The Times had dubbed the area Chinatown. Though neither Prudence nor Geofrey had been approached for legal investigatory services from any of the residents of Chinatown, both were aware of the onerous restrictions the Exclusion Act placed on its largely male population. The Page of Law of 1875 had already banned Chinese women from entering the United States. The Exclusion Act barred all Chinese laborers from the country and requiring that exempt individuals, even diplomats and staff, have their status certified by the Chinese government. Chinese were no longer allowed to become citizens, and a Chinese national who left on business or to visit family in China was rarely permitted to return. The act was due to expire in 1892, but there was legislation being drafted to extend it into prohibitions indefinitely. Well, obviously that never happened. Maybe it happened or didn't happen or whatever, but it definitely later changed. And I'm sure that World War One didn't help much, or two, one. But so we've got this family. Prudence and Geofrey help this family. It turns out, and I don't understand. It isn't really fully explained till the end of the book, so you can check that out for yourself. But apparently, there is this law in China during this particular time period. Whether it has changed since then, I do not know. I'm not aware of China law at all. I have no idea. But apparently, if the father has committed a crime and for some reason he's unable to be punished, then his eldest child must take the punishment instead. Now, the guy's dead. He's been murdered. Isn't that enough? But apparently, that's not. The son must die too. Even though the father was murdered, the son must die too. And Prudence tries to get some diplomats to help out, and they want nothing to do with the Chinese. Harrison is running for president, and all this kind of situation. So they don't find help there, but they do find help in a I guess Mr. Wei, Wei, type figure who is a ruler in Chinatown, and he has amassed funds and he does the protection thing, and he's setting up a whole network of people and arranging protection and organization for the Chinese in the Chinatown area. And so it's interesting. There's a lot of stuff to learn about the Chinese, and I've heard about, and you've seen it in movies too. With the Binding of, that must be horrible. I don't know why they do that. Torture those poor girls like that. I wonder if they still do it today. You think they still do it today? I hope not. But that's your basic mystery here is who done it. And Geofrey and Prudence enlist help. The some people from the last book come back, but then they leave. They're really on the outskirts of the story. They don't really pertain to it too much. They don't have too much involvement in it. But so Prudence and Geofrey meet an Irish cop who tries to help them a little bit, and they also meet this guy who has some Pinkerton ties, but was never actually a Pinkerton. And he's Chinese, so he can speak the language, but he's also an American, so he can speak the language. And he makes a good infiltrator into the society. He makes some good friends into Chinatown. He plays a good spy. He's willing to do stuff. So he may be a future, if this ever does a China thing again, or we may see him again. I'm not sure. I have no idea what the author has planned. But apparently, Prudence and Geofrey may be going to a wedding. The Astors are getting ready in Philadelphia, and they're paying for 200 people to hop on a plane, not plane, train to go to the wedding. There's no planes in 1895 that I know of. Have the rights taken off yet? I think that's a little later than that, after 1900. But it's an interesting story. There's a lot of characters in it. There's a lot of intrigue into China and the customs and Chinatown and the early food served there, and none of the delicacies or the modernization that we see today. They had some chop suey. They had some other stuff that was really icky. Nothing like your chicken fried rice or your egg roll or your sweet and sour chicken or your chicken teriyaki. Well, that's kind of more Japanese, but or your bourbon chicken or your hung pung whatever po thing or your wontons. Could use me some fried wontons. I like my wontons. I like wonton soup too. I like with the Chinese noodles, all nice and crunchy. But it's a good mystery. There's a smidgen of a cliffhanger. I've been waiting. I've been anticipating, thinking it might happen. And it's been 7 books now, and we haven't even had a kiss between the 2 characters. It's been strictly business. I wasn't even sure either one of them had actually thought about anything. So we may be getting a smidgen of a romance in the next book. I've been spoiled by my Victoria Thompson, Sarah Brandt, and Frank Malloy. I'm anxious to go back to that. I think I'll do a Black Dagger Brotherhood, then I'll do another Victoria Thompson, and a couple of if-thens coming up too. But so that's basically your murder mystery, is to find out who killed this Chinese guy. And the biggest reason, or the biggest thing, is to find out why, because they really don't have a motive until the end of the book when it's explained. And then when it's explained, you're like, but all this other stuff has happened and it should make it null and void. But the person doing the killing didn't think it was null and void. He had lost everything, so he wanted the Pangs to lose everything. But until the motive is explained out, they're just fishing. They spend most of the book fishing, walking around, pretend to be missionaries, and they survey the town, and they do some spying, and we meet some people, and it's a drawn out thing, but it's interesting. It held my attention. I finished it quite quickly. 3 hours, and that was like 3 hours. Stop and do something else, come back, stop, do something, have dinner, come back. So, I mean, it wasn't a solid 3 hours, but I tried to nurse it, and she's going off again. But anyways, hopefully I'll be able to one day get a computer. Hopefully my friend here will still work. I've been looking, and you know how it is to find a computer for a decent price and get all the stuff you want in it too. Don't know. But anyways, getting off track here. Murder wears a hidden face. Rosemary Simpson. Let's see if I can do this without the glare. There we go. It's a good mystery. Takes place in New York, the old hometown. Just like Victoria Thompson's series does. And I hope you'll check it out. I will also hope that you hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. I really appreciate it. Thank you.